Sip Rajesh, Sip Samatma, Sip Bliko, Sip Girish, Sip Sudeep, Sip Ansul, Sip Sangamji, Sip Rumataji, Sip Sagai, Sip Atmatray, Sip Parutiyama, Sip Rekha, Sip Yogini. Today, I told you it is a session, it is a continuation of two series. Yesterday we said, do we have to give up relationships for the sake of liberation? And today our discussion is, do we have to give up duty to attain liberation? So do we have to give up our duty to attain liberation? So who would like to attempt this? We all have duties. We all have duties. Whatever be our duty, do we have to give up duty? Can we give up duty? Is it necessary to give up duty? What is your opinion about this? If you have to attain liberation, can we be doing our duty? Can we continue to do our duty and attain liberation? Over to you. Who would like to start?
Kusum Bantakarti.
Anybody?
Shivam, sir.
Shoham, Atmatray, Ashok Chotwani.
Ashok Chotwani, sir. Yeah.
Yes, Ashok.
Sir, we do not have to give up our duty to attain liberation, but we should maintain such a balance between duty and liberation so that both should not disturb each other. And liberation should be our first priority.
Very good. I like what Ashok says. He says liberation should be our first priority and we don't have to give up our duty. Keeping liberation as a priority, I like that in the end, because without that, the answer was not correct. But with the tail of the answer, it got to some amount of correctiveness. But let us, what about situation where the duty is in the opposite direction of liberation? I'm just giving a question, Ashok. I'm not saying that it's always going to be possible, but sometimes the duty is taking us away from liberation. So how are we going to be able to do both? One is going to Kanyakumari, one is going to Kashmir, opposite directions. Then what do we do?
Yeah, through mutual understanding, we can settle, sir. We can solve that problem, sir. Solve that.
Okay, so you have a very valid point when you say that we must make liberation a priority. That is a good point you have said. I don't know. I also agree with the fact that we don't have to give up our duty. I also agree with that point. I never tell people that you must give up your duty. No. But sometimes you are liberated from your duty. Sometimes there's a beautiful mantra, which I don't know how many of you chant. It's a beautiful mantra. Anybody knows the mantra which you have to chant? Anybody knows? About duty and liberation as a mantra. Anybody knows? The mantra that we chant for duty and liberation is good mantra is Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukmeva Bandhana Mrityor Mokshamamritat. Which means, oh Lord, I cannot leave my duty, but you make me let go of everything and make me die. This is the mantra Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urva Rukme Bandhana Mrityor Moksha Mamita. Help me to be liberated. It is the creeper. The creeper lets go of the melon. The melon doesn't snatch itself away from the creeper. So this is very deep meaning. Yogini.
Shivam, sir.
Shivam Yogini.
I remember asking you while doing the duty and liberation is being slipped away from me. So what should I do? So that time you had told me to wear a white kerchief. This will help me in bringing me back to consciousness that I have to be on this path.
Absolutely. There is no change in my stance in the matter.
Yes.
See, for example, Are you able to do your duty and concentrate on liberation, or your duty is taking you away from liberation?
No, in fact, nowadays, when I'm doing my duty also, I keep watching this and it reminds me that I have to be, while doing my duty, I have to remember Lord.
No, very good. You know, Yogini, it's not easy for somebody to commit to wear a white handkerchief 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not easy. I mean, I don't, it maybe anybody can do anything. But today's subject, sometimes our duty is pulling us in the opposite direction. Sometimes we are caught. And like you're saying, no, even when doing my duty, my mind is on the Lord, my mind is on Mumukshutva,
Yes.
my mind is on liberation. A lot of people, they are doing their duty, but they don't understand what is the purpose of the duty. What is the purpose? Suppose I'm making money, I'm making more money, I'm trying to build a house, I'm trying to do something for my family. So I asked one man, and you want to say something?
No, sir, you please continue.
I asked one man, he said, I am busy making money for my son. Because my son has to, I love my son a lot. I love my son a lot. I'm busy making money. So I told him, you are busy making money for your son, but you are in the bargain losing liberation. You know what he told me? He told me, yes. What can I do? Because he's my son. Then luckily I got that doha or that shlok. And I asked him, do you know the meaning? Put saput to kyu dhan sanche.
Yes.
Put saput to kyu dhan sanche. Put kaput to kyu dhan sanche. You know the meaning?
Yeah, if your son is useless, what is the use of saving that money for him? And if he is on his own feet, even then, what is the use of? He can do it on his own.
Exactly. I think suput means a good. So suput means good and kuput means bad. And Rajesh will correct us if I'm right or wrong. Suput,
Right.
suput means a good son. Suput
Good.
is if put kaput. If your put is suput, good son, to kyu dan sanche. Why does he need money? Put kaput. If you leave a kaput money, he will waste all your money. Then why do you
Right.
need money?
Correct. Very
But
good.
But are human beings able to live this? Sorry, they can't. We are so attached. We are so attached to, for example, our son or daughter or something like that. We are not able to live. We are not able to let go, and we are caught in our duties.
So we call
Many
this
people
as
are caught.
ignorance,
Huh?
sir? Do we call this as
Yes.
ignorance?
Yeah. We are. अविद्या के कारण हम सब तड़पते, अंधकार में जीते और फिर हम मरते, पुनर्जन्म फिर हम लेते, मुक्ति नहीं हम पाते, प्रभु से एक ना होते. What is the goal of life? What is our biggest duty? You know, Bliss, what is our biggest duty? Our biggest duty is to become one with the divine. People don't know this is our biggest duty. Our biggest duty is not our duty towards the world. It's not our duty towards our society. It's not our duty towards our temple or our church. It's not our duty towards anything. Our biggest duty is our duty towards the divine. The biggest duty is a duty for ourselves. Why am I born? Why I came to earth? What is the purpose of this human birth? Our biggest duty is realization and liberation. This is our biggest duty of our life. But 99% of the world doesn't understand. What do you do? You know, I was listening to one Babaji. Today, somebody sent me a video of one Babaji. And that Babaji was talking to, I don't know how many lakh people, how many lakhs of people. And that Babaji is going on talking and talking and talking. But what do these people understand? It's very difficult to get to this part of it. Okay, thank you, Yogini. Anything else you want to say, or anybody else? We are on the subject of, do we have to give up our duty to attain liberation? do we have to give up our duty to attain liberation? Who would like to attempt? And I told you, you must be practically in the discussion to evolve. Don't just listen. Listening is only 50%. You must interact and talk and ask to move forward. Rohit.
Yeah, Shivam Guruji. So we should not be
Shivam.
leaving our duties because we can do our sadhana of remembrance of God while doing our duties also.
Yes, absolutely. But our duty should not stop us from our liberation.
Yes, and
In
we
the
should
moment-
spare some time
Yeah.
alone for doing spare some time for yourself for doing this.
Yes, that is for contemplation, for introspection, for meditation. This silence is very important. But Rohit, the problem is this: sometimes the duty that is holding us back is creating a prison for us. The duty makes us a prisoner. Then what do? You become a slave. Then what do?
Yeah. So but if while doing our duty, if we are in constant remembrance, if we get the habit of constant remembrance, then that duty will become a boon for us.
Absolutely. So let Rohit and some of you who are on this call, including Yogini, let's make a point clear. The duty which does not interfere in our liberation path is perfect. The problem is only, I told Ashok Chotwani also said that we will balance duty, but he said the liberation is priority. He escaped. Otherwise, he would have had me giving him some, I would have given some tough shots. No, but he said very clearly, liberation is the priority. Liberation has to be the priority, nothing else. Duty side by side. Rohit, if duty can carry on, what's the problem? If a relationship can carry on, yesterday we spoke of relationship. If a relationship can carry on, provided it does not interfere in liberation, what is the problem? There's no problem. If a relationship comes in between as a bottleneck to your liberation, you cannot have it. If a duty comes in between as a bottleneck to your liberation, you cannot have it. Nothing should stop us from liberation. Atma
Yeah, and liberation should be priority. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It should be.
Liberation should be priority.
Atmatray, Rajesh, and Rekha.
Shivam, sir.
Sure.
So, God has given some work to us, some duty.
Yes.
It should be done as an instrument of God.
Correct. That is not our duty at all.
Yes,
That is not a duty at all. That is God is doing through us.
correct. God's
So
work.
that is
assuming
a
as-
karma yogi. No, that is not a duty. That is not karma. Here we are talking about karma. You are talking about karma yoga.
Okay.
When we talk of duty, Atmatray. When we talk of duty, is it karma or not karma?
It's a karma, but as a work, as a God's work we are doing.
That becomes karma yoga. That's
I
not
see.
karma. That's not the duty.
Okay.
You get it right? Suppose I'm talking to you on Zoom call. Is it my duty? No, it's not my duty. It's karma yoga. I'm not doing anything. I'm not talking. I'm not talking to you. Somebody else is talking.
Right, sir.
So duty becomes the duty of the body, mind, ego. The moment you become a yogi and
Okay.
you're in the yoga, if you're in yoga and you surrender. Huh?
Yes.
कुछ भी मैं ना करता, सब कुछ तू ही करता. If that becomes your attitude, then you. मैं एक बांसुरी प्रभु कुछ भी नहीं. Then there's no duty. Atmatray, that's complete surrender. In that state, there's no duty. There is surrender, complete surrender.
Okay.
But the challenge is, see, for example, in your case, if you have any duty or you don't have any duties.
No, nowadays I'm at home.
Or
I
very
have
small
no duty.
duties which are not small duties, which are not disturbing your path to liberation.
Yes.
So that's not a duty. That is just a circumstance. That is the circumstance of your life. There's no real duty. You're free. You're retired. You're free.
I'm writing some poems or drawing some pictures.
But that is to do only with God's work, right? It is not commercial work.
Yes, sir.
So good, Atmatray. Very good. So Rajesh, Rekha, and Chidaran. Rajesh.
Thank you, sir.
Like duty, I feel that what is the responsibility of that person at the time, that is duty for me. Same like mind plus duty becomes discipline. Body with duty will give you health. In the same way, spirituality with what kartavya you have to give, that is your actual sadhana. That is my point of view, because if the mind does not do its duty of thinking, so there is no fun of going in bliss also. If the body is not healthy and does not take care of itself when you eat, then there is no health. However bliss you have, you will be suffering only. I don't know if I made my point.
No, you made your point. But can I give you one point, if you don't mind me asking you? Are you the body?
That point of view, I'm not thinking. But I have taken birth here and I have some responsibilities.
Who is that I who has taken birth? You came first, or your body came first, Rajesh? You know your body came 9 months after you came. Huh? Your body, your kidney. Was your kidney made by Infosys or Wipro or who? Or was it made by Tata?
God's body.
Not even your mother and father. Your mother and father had nothing to do with your kidney. So we have to go backwards, Rajesh. And when we go backward, Rajesh, and when we get to that point of koham, 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 soham, soham, shivoham, shivo, that's when you are the Atma, you are the soul, the spark of unique life. So that your goal is to realize you are the soul and to be free from this cycle. The moment we get stuck in the cycle of the body and the mind and the ego, then Rajesh is a big fear of coming back to earth in a rebirth. Therefore, I totally respect your point about health of the body and cleanliness of the mind. Completely, I'm in sync with you. But I'm saying go one step ahead of that. Try to the entire focus, Rajesh, is on the Atma, is on the soul. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you for your good point. Rekha Parvani and then Chidanand.
Shivoham Air.
Shivoham.
I had asked you this question some time back, and you answered me saying that if I perform my duty as Rekha Parvani, then it will be a hindrance to my spiritual journey. So I have to perform my duties as Bansuri. मैं एक बांसुरी प्रभु कुछ भी नहीं.
Absolutely right. I don't know when I told you this, but if you are performing duty as Rekha Parvani, that means you have become the body and the mind. And if you're getting caught to the duty of Rekha Parvani, obviously you are not liberated from the body, mind, ego. Yes. Rekha Parvani is the ego. Rekha Parvani is somebody who's living in this body and somebody who's caught in the mind.
Correct.
When you are in thought, you are caught. When you are in thought, you are caught. To be free from the mind, you should be in consciousness. So, absolutely. See, the point is this. The moment you become the Atma in Rekha Parvani or the soul in Rekha Parvani, the moment you realize this, then you can do anything. You can do any duty. Nothing matters.
Yes.
The point is when you get stuck as Rekha Parvani. Yes. I hope you get the point. So we have to, first of all, you have to be liberated from Rekha Parvani.
Yes.
Because Rekha Parvani itself is the illusion. You are not Rekha Parvani. Rekha Parvani is just your name.
Correct.
And the relationships you have, A, B, C, D, are all earthly relationships.
Yes.
And whatever duties you're doing as Rekha Parwani cannot be more important than your primary duty
Yes.
of realization and liberation and unification.
Correct.
And if these earthly duties are coming in the way
Hmm.
to your spiritual duties, then you tell me what you have to do.
No, I have to just drop them.
No, you don't have to. You can
Hmm.
continue doing earthly duty,
By being,
but then you have to come back. No, but then you
Yes.
have to come back. And if you come back, then you have one more cycle.
don't want.
So if you want to come back, then you can come back and come back and come back and come back and come back. Then nobody stops you.
I am the instrument of the Lord. I'm not Rekha Parwani. I will do
No,
my
so
duty.
that is completely, it is completely your choice. See,
Yes.
nobody will force anybody. Nobody puts a gun on your head and tells you, go to get
Mhm.
liberation. You must get enlightenment. Nobody says. It's your choice.
Yes.
If you want to be in ignorance, you be. You want to be reborn, you be. You want to become one with the divine, you choose. You want to suffer body, mind, ego, suffer. You want to be liberated, you be liberated.
Yes, I want to.
So it is a choice. Either you choose or you lose.
Yes.
Either you choose or you lose.
Mhm.
Okay. Chidanand and then
Thank you.
Dhruv. Chidanand,
Shivam Guruji.
Shivam, sir.
So the basic point is what do you mean by duty? If I say duty is nothing but kartavya, then that means you do selfless service, adherence to dharma, and working without means duty can never come in the way of your liberation. And anything which is
What do you
not
mean by kartavya?
kartavya means any action which is in line of dharma, or it is it has to be performed as selfless service
What is the
without
meaning
any
of dharma?
expectation. Like for
What is the meaning
example, if I am a father, then I have got the duties of a father. Now this has to be done in a selfless way without any reward or expectations. Now, if I say I'm a father, I have to provide for a kaput, then there is karma involved there. Then you are unnecessarily redefining your duty the way you want.
Yeah.
Even if I'm a soldier, then I have got a kartavya as a soldier to perform my duties. Now, any duty, if you define it as kartavya, that's the main reason. Even I don't think any kartavya can come in the way of liberation.
So what you say is absolutely right. Just let us put it in clear perspective. Point
Yes.
number one. We are saying that no duty is bad, provided it doesn't come in the way to liberation. So is it okay? Are we
Yes.
in sync?
Yes.
No duty is bad. Okay. And we are saying one more thing. Our biggest duty is liberation. Are you denying that?
No.
These are the two principles we keep in mind.
But sir, I have
If we-
got a converse is not true in logic. In the sense,
Okay.
no duty means now what you define as duty is very important. If a robber says my duty is to rob, then there is an expression problem. He's not calling duty. He wants to call something and call it duty and then do it.
So we just said the first point I told you. If any duty comes in the way of liberation, you have to drop it.
Yeah, it is
So
not a
robbing
duty.
comes in
First
the,
of all,
robbing is if robbing is coming in the way of liberation, then you have to drop it.
yes.
So we keep these two principles ready. Point one. Suppose you're saying you're a father, you have children. Suppose the children are going to school. Can you dump the children? Now
No.
Buddha left his child because Buddha knew that his wife and child were under the care of the king in a kingdom.
Correct.
So he did not leave them on the footpath. So some people they say no, Buddha was a scoundrel. Some people say, how dare he left his
They
wife and child.
don't understand what is what.
Yeah. So
The
we have
child
to be
was
very-
5 years old. That means he knew what his son was. He was not just 3 days or 4 days born child.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that's also true. But I'm saying, so therefore, I think we are trying to move forward on the path of liberation. And in this path, we are saying a couple of things are very important. And then once again, I'm trying to read the question. Do we have to give up our duty to attain liberation? The question is answered. 1, we don't have to give up our duty to attain liberation. 2, our biggest duty is liberation. 3, any duty that is coming in the way of liberation, Has to be dropped.
So I have here a problem in this sentence.
Yeah.
Because I have seen in this path of spirituality, earlier I was attending all this satsang and all before you move on ahead in life. You suddenly find people just for self hallucination, they give all these words and then justify what they are doing, not really knowing what is duty. So the problem is first you have to question if anything comes in the way of my liberation, is it really a duty? Or it is my own selfish, desires and aspirations, which I'm calling self-imposing myself and calling it a duty and then doing it.
So that will hold you back from liberation. You are saying that you get
Obviously,
caught-
that which is that work which holds you back from liberation, I say is not a duty at all in the first place.
So therefore, this discussion, Chidanand, is more. A lot of us are caught in the war. We have a war. On one side, we say there's a duty. On the second side, there's liberation. Where to go? One side I have got a duty, one side I have liberation.
So then I have to
So
question, because Viveka has to be used, discernment has to be
Correct.
there. What I'm calling it a duty is really a duty, or it is my selfish this thing. So I don't have the discernment, a Viveka, then otherwise there is another element of Tyaga also. So moment you realize it is not duty, it is not a kartavya, better leave it, detach.
So therefore, we have to be clear in the principles. Here, the principle, once the principles are clear, then we will be able to use our Viveka.
Yes,
our
our priority
discrimination.
on this path of spiritualization is only one. I cannot have multiple priorities. It is only moment you have only liberation, then only we move into this path of just go above Pedu.
So many people have priorities. I tell them, but liberation is the priority. It is not a priority. It is the priority.
Yes.
The priority means it is, and for some people, like for me, it is the only priority. So there are three types. I'm defining this, Chidanand, for your convenience, since you spoke about it. Somebody may have a priority A, priority B, priority C. Somebody said this is the priority. So it is not A, B, C, D. This is Z. This is the priority. And somebody else says this is the only priority, which means I have given up all other priorities. So it all depends upon what level of passion we have reached.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Ru, and then Gautam, and then Shilpa. Ru.
Shivam, Guruji, we have a lot of hours in a day. So if we allocate it nicely, then we can easily get time, 2 hours for 1 hour for call, 1 hour for yoga or some reading.
Yes. So good point. So we need to do a good time management to get liberation. Point number one. Point number two, we have to also give some time for our duties, if provided the duties are not coming in the way for our liberation. And point number three, what we just spoke now, liberation has to be the priority of our life. If liberation is not a priority of our life, what will happen? Then we'll have so many duties. Let me give you an example, bro. Let me give you an example. So somebody says, no, today we have in my building society, they are doing Diwali party, so I have gone for 3 hours meeting there. Then they say, no, then the painting of the building has gone bad, so I went to buy paint for 2 hours. Then they say, then when my child had to go to school, I went to drop my school child for 1 hour. Then they say, I have to teach my child 1 hour. Now, some things, for example, teaching the child or dropping the child, there's no, you have to do it. What can you do? But suppose there's an unnecessary building meeting and you can avoid that building meeting, then it's up to you, right? It all depends upon what importance you're giving to what. Here comes the key. Have you made liberation the priority of your life? This is a key. Have you made liberation the primary duty of your life? If you have made liberation the primary duty of your life, then everything is okay. Then there's no problem. The problem is we have 101 other priorities. And if you have 101 other priorities, then how will you ever get liberated? Somebody says, today is my friend's birthday, my friend's 60th birthday. So we are having a party. 4 hours I went. No, 4 hours gone for a party. Because 4 hours party, because first 1 hour music, then second hour birthday cake cutting, and third hour dinner, and then fourth hour we're having a concert. So now it's up to you. You can say 4 hours for a birthday party is okay. For me, it's not okay. So everybody has to make the choice. What is the priority? You are saying time management. Yeah, time management, time allocation. But have you made liberation the priority? That is a very important thing. Gautam.
Sure, Mayor.
Sure.
I wanted to tell that how to deal with duties which takes us back from liberation, and sometimes it takes us from Bhoga. Sometimes it takes liberation, and sometimes it takes from Bhoga. And how to deal with
it takes
sometimes
you into Bhoga. It takes you into Bhoga.
Yeah.
See, good question, Gautam. So first of all, if there's some duty that's taking you away from liberation. Suppose your father tells you, no, you have to go to Rajasthan for somebody's wedding, and you have to go now for 115 days. And by going 15 days, you're completely disconnected from your spiritual life. So then maybe you find a way that you go, but you don't disconnect from spiritual life. Or you ask somebody else to go and you don't go. So this is where even Chidanand said the using of discrimination is very important. Making liberation priority is very important. Suppose liberation is not a priority. Suppose today I want to go here and there and everywhere I want to go, and liberation is not a priority. Then fine, then I won't be liberated. Am I making liberation my priority? That is important. Now you said the next point. Suppose liberation is making you sink in Bhoga. Suppose you feel it's a duty to go with a friend and the friend is smoking. And you are smoking and smoking and smoking, and you're back to the old addiction. Or you feel it's a duty to go with your school friends. School friends are having a party and they all are drinking. And you get drunk in the party because your school friends, after all from 25 years back, all friends are meeting. So I decided it's a reunion of my class. So I started drinking. So this is a choice you have to make. Whether you want to go for that party and not drink or not go for that party, doesn't matter. So it all depends how many priorities you have. Some people have got 101 different priorities. Liberation comes last. If liberation is priority number 102, then what do you expect?
Liberation.
Yeah, so no, if you want liberation, you can't have 100 other priorities in your life. And you cannot sink in Bhoga.
Yeah, one more thing I want to ask you.
Yes.
If the duty which we are doing, it's in the pleasure, so we have to quit the duty or we have to continue the duty? Which makes us pleasure.
There's nothing wrong in pleasure. There's nothing wrong in having a pleasure. Suppose your duty, you're in an amusement park and you are the manager of an amusement park, and it's great fun to go to the amusement park and people are laughing and joking and having fun. Any problem?
No.
There's no problem. But provided you have clarity that your goal is liberation. If you go to the amusement park every day, you're laughing, joking, ice cream, Coca-Cola, and you forget about your liberation.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have to be focused on that. Shilpa.
So when one is working towards liberation or desiring liberation or seeking liberation, that means something is in bondage. What is it that is in bondage, and what is it that is seeking liberation?
What is in bondage is the Jivatma. The Jivatma living as the body, the mind, and the ego. We are ignorant. The causal body is the Karana Sharir is caused by ignorance. And we are trapped by the senses of the body and the wandering of the mind and the false identity of the ego. So we need to overcome this ignorance, and we need to be liberated from the ignorance of I am the body, mind, ego. I have to be, once I'm liberated, then I am the soul. Then once I'm the soul, I'm free from all suffering on earth, and I'm free from the cycle of rebirth.
Okay, like you mentioned, suffering, we will be free. So the human birth is considered a blessing. Like we say, you have been given a human birth, it's a blessing. Then why living is suffering?
Why living in suffering? But that's how this world is, no? So do you agree that every human being in this world will experience some pain of the body, some fall, some fracture, some decay, some disease, some COVID?
That's pain.
Yeah.
That's pain.
And
That's not
then the
suffering.
mind, it wanders, it worries, it creates fear and worry and stress and anxiety and depression. Everybody has the problem.
Yeah, that's why my question, like we consider human birth as a blessing, knowing fully well that it comes with all of this. So why do we keep focusing on the suffering part and call living a suffering and make our life more suffering?
Because the human birth is considered suffering because it's better than a pig and a dog and a tree that is bound to the ground, which can't even move. Suppose you were a tree, and suppose you are standing in the same position for 500 years.
But isn't it a better thing? They don't have to go through this suffering. They are bearing fruit, giving a shade.
The suffering is 100 times more. To be a tree which can't move, which can't talk, which can't express its feelings or pain.
They don't have mind and ego, so there is no suffering for them.
So that is what you think. But every living creature, for example, a dog, let's take a dog. The dog is suffering its own karma. That's why it's a dog. That's why it can't say the dog has a kidney problem. The dog can't say I have a kidney problem.
So animals do have karmas.
Animals they are not kartas. They are only bhoktas.
But they have karmas.
They are settling karma. You're born as an animal because you're settling karma.
Okay.
Thank you, Chidanand.
So I think human birth is a blessing because it is only in this birth you have a fully developed intellect and reasoning power, and only as a human being you can liberate or come out of this ignorance. That's why it's a blessing. But if you want to remain in ignorance, you are like any other jiva.
Absolutely. What you said, 100%. 100% right. So that's why the human birth, Shilpa Chidanand has given you the feather on the cap. The human birth is considered a blessing because only the human being has a fully developed intellect, and only the human being can attain mukti and moksha, and only the human being can become one with the divine. No dog and no pig and no frog and no tree can become liberated. You have to come back to a human being. And that's why, see, the problem is this. Why we don't discuss this too much. The moment you start saying this, then people say, what is the proof the dog has karma? What is the proof the tree has karma? This cannot be proved. This is anubhuti. This is an inference. This is an experience. If you look at the eyes of a dog, you know that dog has a soul in it. You know the dog has a life in it. You know the dog is suffering. You know, I had a dog that was my beloved for 8 years, and the dog had a kidney failure. And I know the dog suffering. The dog had put injections in the ribs and on the back of the head. And the dog suffered so much. And the question is this: the only reason of suffering is karma. There is no other reason for suffering in this world. And the only reason for karma is that one was a human being before, because karma is only created by human beings. Now, this is not going to be understood by everybody. Chidanand, do you think everybody can understand this logic?
No.
You think people can? Huh?
It requires deep study.
And deep anubhuti. So just to tell you all what I just said just now. A dog is a dog because of past karma. A dog is suffering. There's no doubt a dog is suffering. And the dog is suffering because it has past karma. And the past karma is only belonging to a human being. Therefore, a human being can be born as a dog. Now, this cannot be proved. It cannot be. It's like a law of gravity. It's only inference. We throw an apple, it comes down. We infer there is the law of gravity. I want proof. There's no proof. There is only inference. So, if you want to infer, last question, anybody, before we thank you, Chidanand, before we put this thing together. Okay. So, my dear friends, let's go step by step. I think tomorrow is Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So tomorrow tomorrow is the subject on death. Ask me any question you want, because I have written 2 books on death 5 years ago. And I realized that I want to talk on death because many people don't understand the meaning of death. What is death? Why we die? So that will come tomorrow. But why I'm talking about it now is because as long as we are alive and there's death, there's no liberation. Our goal is liberation. Liberation from all suffering on earth and liberation from rebirth. We have got to escape from two things, correct? And as long as we are not liberated, we suffer pain of the body, misery of the mind, agony of the ego when we are alive. Then we are reborn, and again and again and again. And I cannot prove, but suppose we are born as animals or trees or dogs and frogs and bees and butterflies. Oh, it's horrifying, right? Imagine you're a mosquito and somebody kills you, and again you come back, and now you're a pig and you die, and again you can the tree. And I don't know, some trees are alive for hundreds of years. Now we don't want to get there. We want to talk only about we are a human being. We are not really worried whether we can become a dog and a frog. No, we only have one goal. That one goal is liberation. That one goal is unification with the divine. Can we deny death? Nobody can deny that the body will die. Nobody will deny that we leave the body and we go. Nobody denies that that's the reason people cremate the body. So all that tomorrow. But today what we are talking about, the goal is liberation. No relationship should hold me back. No duty